design in the fall of 2013. The first lesson taught on August 30th. Week 1 was presenting yourself, and we did a power project in class where we created a blog, and I just want to walk through that for anyone who missed it or anyone who had trouble with it, especially since we had trouble with the web that day, shoddy connection. So first things first, you want to go to wordpress.com and you're going to click Getting Started. You're going to type in your email address and your username. I'm just going to go ahead with what it recommends for now because I can always change that later. And that's not the part that everyone sees. I'm going to go ahead and type in a password. Now the blog address is the part that we really care about here. This is the part that if you're going to send someone your portfolio or the link to your blog, this is what you're going to send them. And this is going to be free, so it's whatever you choose, the blog address .wordpress.com. I recommend using either your first name, middle name, last name, some combination there of that. If you can avoid using a stream of numbers at the end of it, that would be ideal. You could do something like Sarah is a designer. If you have a common first name like I do, look, that one's taken. I'm surprised. I'm not going to do that today for me. I'm going to say Sarah Zero Teaches. Obviously, you want to use your name. And look, that's available. Great. The next thing I want to do is, just in case you ever want to buy the URL with the same name, I recommend going to check it out in a new tab here. I've opened up namecheap.com, which is the one that I prefer to buy my domains. You can go right down here, sarahzeroteaches.com. Is this available? Search. And yes, it is available for $10.69 a year. I recommend .com whenever you can get that. And so I'm not going to require that students purchase a URL at this time, but for $11 a year, I highly recommend going and doing this on your own. It's totally up to you. Ideally, you want to get to a point where all of your social media platforms that you use, such as Twitter, WordPress, your portfolio URL, if you use Dribbble, any Instagram, whatever you use to show your professional self, ideally you'd be using the same username or the same URL for all of those so that it's really easy to find you. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that for now. We're going to go back here. Great. You can purchase it for $18 a year. We're not going to bother with that for now. You can if you want to. And I'm going to go and select this free blog option. Then I need to go and check my email. So I'm going to open that up in a new tab. Come on now. There we go. And I have an email from WordPress. Activate blog. Being patient here. Great. I'm going to change this just so that it appears at the... Actually, we're going to worry about that later. I'm just going to leave that right like it is. The tagline is optional. This is where I recommend that you definitely use a word like designer or illustrator. That's going to make you easier to find, and you'll pop up higher if someone searches, for example, designer in Philadelphia. So I'm going to put graphic design professor, DCAD graphic design professor, English. Okay, next step. Choose a theme. Let's skip that for now because I have a really basic theme that I want all the students to use just at the beginning, because I'd really prefer that you focus on designing the work that goes up on your blog and showcasing it on a very clean, basic theme rather than worrying about designing your blog right now. So we'll get to that. Customizing it costs extra money, so we're going to skip that right now. Next step, share blog posts. I'm not going to bother with connecting it quite yet. And create your first post. Okay, we're not going to get to that quite yet, so I'm going to click finish here. And the very first thing I'm going to do is go up to my blog, change appearance. And right here I'm going to search for this theme that I have already picked out. Truly minimal. Activate. And again, once we reach the end of the semester, you are welcome to change the theme if you want. I do recommend for a portfolio or design blog keeping it very simple and light. But for the purpose of this class, I would like you to start out with truly minimal. So we have that set up. Customize it. Great. Okay, again, that customized design right here, you have to pay extra to do that, so we are not going to worry about that. Colors, you can change your header text color to anything that you want. Let's see, just for now, I'm going to go with something really bright and kind of fun. Okay, and this number right here that follows the pound sign, it's a 6-digit letter and number combination. It might be all numbers for you or all letters. That's called a hex code. You might want to just take note of that because, again, if you are trying to have your social media accounts look consistent across the board, you know, if you're a Twitter user, you get to pick the color of your links. I recommend using this exact same code as you would on your Twitter account. And there's a spot when you go to your Twitter settings, for example, that you can plug this exact thing in so that you have exact consistency across the board. That way, if somebody stumbles across one of your other accounts, it's a visual cue that it is indeed the same person. Okay, so we're going to select that color. For background color, I would like everyone to use white. We're going to keep it easy on the eyes, and this will keep the attention on your work. Oops, spread out beyond the screen there. You know, think about how work is displayed in an art gallery. The walls are white so that your attention goes right to the work, and that's what we're trying to do here. Background image, again, no background image. The front, we want it to display your latest posts. Site title, here we go. Obviously, it's a little hard to read like that. Oops, let's hover over that. So I'm just going to Sarah, it keeps doing that on me. Sarah Zero teaches. DCAD graphic design professor. I might change that around a little bit now, but I don't want to get bogged down in the details while I'm just going through this tutorial. Display header text. Yes, we are going to do that for now. We might have you design your own headers down the road, but not worrying about that today. And theme options. You can decide whether to have your bar on the sidebar placement on the left or the right. I'm going to keep mine on the right. I do want you to pick either right or left. Do not pick none because it's going to help you organize your posts. Okay, we're going to save that. Great. That's part 1. I'll resume with part 2 in a moment.